Did okay, but always felt that I was capable of stuff. Didn't really know what I was going to do. I was given opportunities, and I grabbed it with both hands. Turnover wise, I'm probably about 155 million across those businesses. It's a decent business. Few and far between people know exactly what they want to do and stay there in their whole life. Left school, did a bit of clubbing, didn't really know what I wanted to do. Young men are like that. Yeah. I've done a range of jobs. I've worked on building sites, I've worked in takeaways, I've done all this different kind of stuff. A few of my mates were working for this business called Genesis Communications back in the day. Why Telecoms for me? It was a funny one really. I fell into it. You have to make decisions, you have to try stuff, and sometimes you will fail. But it's not about the failures, it's about that kind of, right, what did I learn from that? What do I put into place next? And I think that people who do well aren't afraid to make mistakes. They're also not afraid to admit that they're mistakes. People who learn from mistakes just keep progressing. I was impatient, I wanted to go fast, I wanted to be somewhere, I wanted to be someone. Yeah. The best thing you can do for yourself is just surround yourself with great people. That's the thing you focus on.
Before you start this episode, please can you click subscribe below and follow our social handles in the description. It's a massive help and it keeps you up to date with all the exciting announcements from the podcast. Good, thanks for coming on, Wilf. Appreciate you coming on, giving us some time, mate.
That's all right.
Good man.
Pleased to do.
Let's throw you straight in. So I'm going to give you a minute, put you on the spot. Yeah. So let's imagine nobody knows anything about you or about you. So I'll give you a minute to go from Wilf when you came into the world to now. And you can summarise where you're at. Okay. In a minute. You think you're up for the challenge?
Yeah, I'll try and do that.
Go on, mate.
Born over 50 years ago, so let's start with that. Northern lad. Nice childhood. Brought up in a nice village called Winnick in Warrington. Really nice. Things change probably, as you grow up and go to school and all that. So I had a decent time at school. Nice, was okay. Kind of fell off the rails a bit, as you do when you leave school. You don't quite know what you're going to do. Enjoyed a reasonable clubbing generation, because that was my generation. Really enjoyed that. Yeah. Did okay, but always felt that I was capable of stuff. Didn't really know what I was going to do. Yeah. I think I made a post a while ago about being given opportunities, and I was given opportunities, and I grabbed it with both hands and worked hard. I'm a big believer in working hard. Yeah. I think the world gives you back what you put in generally. Yeah. And so I always tried to work hard, do the right thing. I think as an individual, I always try and do the right thing for everybody. Yeah. I think certainly in business that works. If you operate in the right way, I think that comes back to you. Yeah. And now ended up in a telecoms business, or a business called Giacom, which is a pretty big business, telecoms and IT, running a mobile business. Very privileged to run it. Got some great people working for me. Yeah.
So give us dig into the part of the business that you're running then. Yeah. So head to tail, how many people are you looking after? Or how many clients does it work with? Just give us a bit of info on that.
Perfect. So Giacom as a business, just briefly, Giacom as a business, we're a completely indirect business. So we only have partners as our customers. So we have no end customers. Four businesses within one. So you've got a mobile business, which I run, which we'll go into a bit more detail. We've got a connectivity business, a cloud business, and a software business. So I run the mobile business. Directly working for me is probably about 55 people, something like that. Total Giacom is about 600-700. So it's so as a business, mobile is about 55 people, something like that. Sales driven, yeah. So I run the sales arm effectively. In that business, we've got three channels within that. We've got a wholesale business where we buy white label off the suppliers and we sell to our partners, and our partners bill it up, send it out, and they do the service. So we're completely silent in that environment. We've got a network build business, as we call it, which is red bill, blue bill, green bill, I think, EE, where the contracts are with the networks, but the partners have the commercial relationship and own that. And then we've got a hardware business where we're shifting handsets, laptops, that kind of stuff. How many partners have I got? In a wholesale business, probably 1,500. In my network build business, another 500, and then you can add those together to get my hardware business. So yeah, we've got about.
So it's a chunky piece.
It's a chunky business, yeah. I mean, turnover wise, I'm probably about 155 million across those businesses. Yeah. So it's a decent business.
What would you say? So why telecoms?
Why telecoms for me? It was a funny one, really. I fell into it.
I feel that's what everybody says.
Yeah, I was, you know, as I say, left school, did a bit of clubbing, didn't really know what I wanted to do. As young men are like that, I think. Yeah, you know, few and far between people know exactly what they want to do and stay there in their whole life. Yeah. I think you know, most kids like me kind of wanted to do well, but weren't really sure what they wanted to do. And I'd done a range of jobs. I'd worked on building sites. I'd worked in takeaways. I'd done all this different kind of stuff.
I could see you with a high vis.
Yeah, I had high vis and
high vis look.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Overalls, all that kind of stuff. And then a few of my mates were working for this business called Genesis Communications back in the day, which was a mobile business right back, you know, and it was a fast-growing business then. It was, you know, mobiles had been around a few years. Yeah. Business mobiles had just come out, and you know, so it was a fast-growing business. So my mates were working at this place, and I needed something different. I was working, as I say, working on building sites, working in takeaways. I wanted something different. I'd met this really beautiful lady who eventually went on to be my wife. And I needed to kind of, you know, I needed to get something better. Yeah. So I got this job. First job was sales admin. Okay. So my day job consisted of a pile of paper here in a stack. And my job was to take that, enter it on a spreadsheet, and then put it in another stack for someone else to do. I lasted about 2 weeks. And it was driving me mad. But I saw opportunity in this place. I saw opportunities. So I carried on, and I kind of pushed and you know, said I could do things when maybe you couldn't, but I thought I could, but weren't quite sure I was going to do it. Yeah. But did okay. Progressed in that business over time. Moved into a sales admin, bit more senior, maybe running a few people, and then a commercial role, a finance role, and ended up here. Yeah.
So in terms of I fell into telecoms for me. I didn't have a clue I wanted telecoms until I found a job in telecoms, and they said, you know, we're starting a telesales part of the company. There's not many people in this industry, if any, doing telesales, new business. That was when I was 19 or something, 19 and a half. Yeah. And they were like, you learn a fortune if you make it work. Yeah. There's a lot of money in phones. And that was the day where I think the business was getting, you know, £700-800 a box. £700-800 a box for a contract. Phones were 50, 60, 70 quid.
I remember those days.
And people were making a fortune on it. Like, completely role reverse nowadays, isn't it?
It's a different model now. I remember those days. I think my first cost of acquisition was a Nokia 3310, and I think it was 83 quid. And you had your overall sales cost was about 120. Yeah. So your £203 was the target overall cost of acquisition per connection. Yeah. And that was the model that we worked on in Genesis. It was a good model.
I was going to say, I bet you when you got into the other side of it and selling stuff, you're probably making a fortune.
Exactly.
Like, I remember my boss said, "But look, we've got an opportunity. We want to build the telesales out. We don't know how to do it. Yeah. You've done a lot of sales, telesales stuff, but you know nothing about telecoms. So we'll give you 6 months. If you make it work, then we'll hire a load of people. Yeah. And if you're good enough, you can run them and all this stuff. If you're shit, we'll sack you in 6 months." And he said, us, probably 3 months, maybe even sooner. Yeah. And I said, okay, what are your expectations? And he said, I don't know how many appointments can you book. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I don't know. Like, it's a different industry. I said, why don't you give me the phone and I'll dial from the book and we'll see how we go. And I think his expectations were maybe he might book 1 or 2, and they didn't give me any criteria. So one man with a phone was I could book that in, or 100 or 1,000. I could book that in. There was no vetting criteria, so I thought, okay, I could clear up here. I'm getting paid £25 per one. Nice. At a young age, I was probably on 18, 19 grand at the time, which was the going rate then. And then, I think I averaged 8 to 10 a day, to the point where I was booking 3, 4 in the morning. I'd go on lunch, and it was near a big field. Yeah. I'd go on lunch, it was the summer, top off. Nice. I'd fall asleep for an hour, then come back. Oh, where have you been? I was like, yeah, it's all right, I've done 5. And that was okay. Yeah. And then it just all kicked off from there.
Yeah, I remember the Genesis.
By the time that business sold, there was 30 odd people in that department alone.
Exactly.
It's mad.
That's what happened in the Genesis days. I remember the telesales team, the appointment makers. They used to warm up in the car park in the morning. The manager would have them doing stars.
Yeah. We had people doing laps in the car park, running about.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
And there was such celebration when they got an appointment. But they were setting serious amounts of appointments. I think there was, in Genesis days, there were 10 regional branches. there was 8 heads per branch.
Yeah.
You know, and they needed appointment per day.
Yeah.
So it was a serious operation.
Yeah.
2 appointments a day if you could make them. So it was a big operation, and it worked.
Yeah.
And you know, you learn a lot in those environments about how to kind of deal with people, motivate people.
Yeah.
You know, the disciplines needed for that kind of job, because people think it's easy, but it's not. It's
the transferable disciplines in life as well, aren't they? Like, I think I learnt the most ever from telesales jobs, call centre jobs, and the most probably from the door-to-door job. Did a door-to-door, 100% commission for 2.5 years, all weathers, 6 days a week, no guarantee of any money.
That's a tough
and
job.
I look back at that now, and I feel like I probably had, in that 2 years, probably had the hardest and most rejections.
Yeah.
And it set me up to then go and do a telesales job. I thought I was walking the park.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't got to see anyone and tell me to fuck off to my face. Walk me off their property.
Yeah.
This is a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It just, I think you set up then, you're hardy, and that would have been, 18. You know, so like entering my 20s in a new industry.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in a good spot.
Yeah,
but I thought, but I did it, I'd made some mistakes, and I was way too big in my pay grade, and I got knocked down a peg or two very, very quickly.
If you don't make mistakes, you don't learn, do you?
Yeah.
I think, you know, it's fundamental that, you know, you have to make decisions, you have to try stuff, and sometimes you will fail.
Yeah.
But it's not about the failure, is it? It's about that kind of, right, what did I learn from that? What do I put into place next? And I think that people who do well aren't afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're also not afraid to admit that they're mistakes, which is, you know, some things you don't always see. Well, the people who learn from mistakes just keep progressing.
Yeah.
I think it's, you know, it's one of those things.
Thinking about comms then, from sort of 10, 15 years ago to like present day, where do you see the biggest changes in terms of industry?
I mean, if I look back in the day, you know, again, I'll just a little bit about Genesis. You know, set up by a guy called Brian Kennedy, who ran, I think, the Latium Group at the time. That was a double glazing firm,
Yeah.
So he employed double glazing tactics to sell mobile phones, and it worked. Yeah, big outbound, big appointment. Clearly, the market now, the big change in the market is, you know, back then nobody had a mobile phone, or it's very new. Now everyone's got a mobile phone, so it's different. Yeah. You're not treading, you know, you're not breaking new ground. You're competing for share.
Yeah.
So therefore, you know, it's not about nobody's got it, I can sell them new stuff. It's about, you know, you are competing for share. So therefore, you have to have a differentiated
Why should
service.
I go with you rather than I want that technology?
Yeah, price is price. Yeah. They're all much of a muchness, like at Olympic, and nobody's really much cheaper than anybody else. You know, the networks have a level that they play at, the wholesalers have a level that they play at. It's as low as it can go realistically, and then you might get a little bit of change, but not much.
Yeah.
So when you're in that kind of market, you know, you're competing at a level, you have to offer something different.
Yeah.
If you're just going to compete on price, then it's not going to work, is it? You need something different. Certainly in our business, you know, we're all about enabling our partners to win. And how do they do that? You know, we need to look at their business and help them provision easy, service easy. You know, we need to take as much pain away from them as we can, and that's the value we offer.
Yeah.
And that I suppose that's the biggest difference. Yeah, 15 years ago, new world, new market. There was just loads of business available.
Yeah.
Now, there's not loads of business available. It's a saturated market, for want of a better word. So you're competing for share, and share comes with service. If you can provide something differentiated and make those, in our world, those partners' lives much easier, then we're in a good space.
So even your share of the business turning over 150 odd million quid, right? Your differentiators are really simple, and actually are not what I would say are not groundbreaking. But then that leads me to how and why my business, Guru Technology, deals with you guys, and why we've entered into a longer strategic partnership.
Absolutely.
After a long partnership elsewhere.
Yeah.
Is you might look at those sort of USPs as such and think, well, surely that's what everybody does. That's what everybody gets. It's not in this industry. It absolutely isn't. And I think if you are getting it, that can also differ over time, because people get lazy and people expect what they expect because of longevity. And actually, whether it's us dealing with our own customers, we should never expect our customers to stay unless we're providing the value. Yeah. We've got to be the best company to deal with in whatever way that is, today, tomorrow, and in 3 years, 4 years' time when they renew. Or how can we expect? I think it's quite an arrogant position to be in, to think
absolutely is. You're
just going to stay forever. It just don't work like that anymore. You look at football players these days.
Exactly.
I'm a Liverpool fan. Shit last night. I'm a Liverpool fan.
So am I.
Oh, yeah. God, I could speak for hours about it. I'm not going to. Nope. Different day. But, you know, you look at like players run the show. Yep. The agents run the show. It's not about doing the right thing by the club anymore for most players. It's about hanging on and getting what they want out of it. And it's kind of that arrogance I feel like I see a lot in this arena. I think there's tons of great companies to deal with that are at our level, and tons of great, maybe bigger businesses. But I think either they lose their way over time and get lazy and stop delivering the value.
Agreed.
All the stuff you said there is what I would expect to be just basic level deliverables for most people. But because they don't do it, that makes it an easy job for you guys when you go and deliver that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think, I've been doing this role now in Giacom for almost 3 years, let's say, as MD of the mobile business. I absolutely pride myself on the fact that we're constantly looking at how we can improve things. It would be easy for us. Giacom, the mobile business it's a large business in the UK. We're probably, there'll be arguments who's number one. It doesn't really matter. But we're pretty big. It'd be easy for us to sit back and go, well, I'm big enough, and therefore everybody's going to come to me. Build it, and everyone will come. Well, it doesn't work. You have to be continually on your game, and continually looking at how you make your partner's life easier. Especially, as I say, in the market where it's relatively flat and prices are prices. You need to offer value elsewhere.
We didn't agree to make a big change for us because of the price in reality. No. Don't get me wrong.
Of course, it's
for anyone listening. The commercials were very aggressive, but they weren't necessarily in all areas the best commercials.
No.
But the level of understanding of what we're trying to achieve as a company and how Giacom can help us make that happen. Because when you strip everything back, me and JB started this business because we obviously want to grow a business. We want to answer a few questions from people that say we can't do it because we like a bit of that. I think that's healthy if done in the right way. But first and foremost, we want to make sure we build a business for everybody to work in that supports their families, and we want to have a future for our families. That is it, period. So when you've got a supplier that doesn't engage with that or doesn't show an interest in that, for me, it's quite personal.
Yeah, of course it is.
Engage with me. Like, we're not your biggest, we're not your smallest, but this is what we're doing, this is what we're buying off you, and we want to grow the relationship. And what we found through the process, obviously dealing with yourself and Jason and whatever with Giacom, and if anybody, definitely advocate speaking to you guys if people are not already, is just the level of understanding and interest that business has, albeit a £150 million business with my business that turns over just under 3 million.
It's
you didn't get that level of interest anywhere else.
No, and what if I try to change, or what if I try to implement? I recognise that people are massively important in business. People buy off people. Cliche, but they do. I think I've always looked at the people who've been in my business and tried to develop them as much as I can. Instill the same values that I have. And I think I've got some fabulous people. Your account director, Jason, I think is as good as they get. He's as good as they get because he is constantly looking at ways that he can help his partners. He puts them first at all points of time. You can ring Jason on a Sunday night at kind of midnight and he'll be there or thereabouts. It's that personal level of service, and I've made sure we haven't lost that, even though we've got scale.
So that's why people want to do the business. I think I'll WhatsApp him sometimes.
Exactly.
When we were going for negotiations, I was WhatsApping him Sunday night, Saturday, and I'm a patient bastard most of the time.
Well,
I want everything yesterday, and especially when you want to get a deal over the line. There's that week period, 2 weeks where it's just head down intense. And he was available literally at any point in time, any day of the week.
And it's so important that you get, when you're trying to build that, but you get the right people, who buy into your ethos, who want to come along with you, on the buses, they're saying all that kind of stuff. But getting the right people is number one. It's the hardest thing to do. It's certainly, over the past few years, I've learned a lot about getting the right people is really hard. But it's worth the investment. It's worth the time. It's worth the effort to get them, because it pays back in spades. I think one of my mentors, one of the great people in my life from a business point of view, I remember him a long time ago, just said, the best thing you can do for yourself is just surround yourself with great people. And that should be, as a leader, as a manager, whatever you want to call yourself, that's the thing you focus on. You've got to run your business, but get good people and keep them, look after them, invest in them, time, effort, all that kind of stuff.
So practically on that, how do you do that as a leader?
How do I do it as a leader? Look, I try and meet everybody we employ. So for my business, I try and meet them.
Which must be, it's a scalable business.
It's a scalable business, but I try and meet everybody. I want to see everybody as best I can. Sometimes it's not possible, but I want to meet them. One thing, I believe I'm a reasonable judge of character, decent judge of character. You get that through experience a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Not boasting. I'm rarely wrong about people, I feel. Obviously, everyone makes some mistakes, but I'm rarely wrong about people. So therefore, I like to meet people. Yeah, I like to meet them up front. And it's CVs are important. You get CV and you read it, but I'm trying to see what's not in the CV.
Yeah,
I'm trying to understand them underneath that because when you get CVs,
that's the shop window, isn't it?
Yeah, they're all written the same way. You're not going to put something rubbish in a CV. So I like to meet people. Yeah. And then, once they're in, I like to keep close. I pride myself on being available. If someone wants to ring me. If someone wants to speak to me. My job as running this business is, you work. I don't work in the business. I work on it.
Yeah.
Important thing when you're trying to run a business, you need to take the time to work on it and not in it. And people are the number one. So you've got to engage with people. You've got to understand what motivates them. People are motivated in different ways, and you have to deal with people in different ways, and that's a skill. And again, you develop that over time. Personal relationships with my staff is vitally important to me.
What do you reckon on the flip side? What do you think? What do you see as your biggest challenges at the moment for you personally as a leader in your business? Not necessarily your business or the industry, but for you, what are your biggest challenges?
Biggest challenge for me personally, I'm impatient. I like things to happen quick. Yeah. I always want to go faster.
Yeah.
Interesting. The bigger the Giacom business is getting, it's a reasonable sized business now. You have to make sure you're dealing with everybody in the right way. Where if you in a smaller business, I envy you sometimes because you can make decisions that can change tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Once you get to a larger business, you've got these processes, these procedures, and those are the biggest things I've had to learn about. Just accept that I want to move as fast as I can, but accept that moving as fast as I can might be 3 weeks rather than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not so it's situational.
How have you adapted to deal with that? Because I'm not in the same sort of business as yourself, so I'm very much the same. Like we've had a meeting. Like I've been off for 6 weeks on paternity. I've come back about a week ago. Sat down with JB once or twice. We had a good meeting this morning before you guys come in, and that was to sort of sign off on next phase.
Yeah.
And we've sort of looked at timescales and stuff. It's like starts today, like tomorrow. We've agreed what we agree. Starts tomorrow. Like but we've got no, we don't. We need to start, we're not going to be brash, and there's certain things we need to do at certain times, and we need to engage different conversations, different people, and get things in place. But this starts today. It don't start next week. It don't start next month, because every day we're just wasting time. We're not going gung ho with no plan. We've got a plan in place. We need to get it documented and stuff. We can do that. But that's we can do that whenever we want. We need to start moving on things now. So I get that sort of level of impatience. I'm not sure I could when the old business was bought by a bigger business and it went into another company that operated very differently, a bit more corporate, circa 25-30 million pound turnover, a couple of 150 staff. I retained position for a period of time, but things just didn't move for me quick enough. It was really frustrating for me. I felt like me and the CEO were butting heads every week. Just let me go. You pay me to do a job. If I fuck up, hold me accountable. Don't pay me, do what you want, but just let me go. Like, I'm used to having autonomy, and that level of not necessarily not autonomous decision making, but the practicalities of making a decision and how you get that through the mix. I'm not sure I would be suited to that. I don't know.
I've had to learn. Fundamentally, I've had to learn. I think if I was to go back 10, 15 years and you ask what's Wilf like, they'd probably say he's impatient. He's impatient and he's brash and he wants things. He's bold and sometimes a bit rude and a bit blunt. Rude's probably not quite.
Is that person still here now? Just different face, different shape.
I don't think so. I think I'm still as straightforward as I've ever been. I think what I've learned is that I focus on the stuff that's in my gift and I can control. And the stuff that's out of my gift and I have to wait, and I'm not the decision maker. Therefore, I can't worry about too much. I have to let that go. That's something else. That's something I've really learned to do. Let go stuff that in the past I might have welled on it and kind of got really upset about it. It doesn't do you any good. It does not do you any good.
You the same personally?
It's funny, really.
Or am I asking the wrong question?
No, it's fine. It's fine. In my family life, I think I'm quite chill. Again, I'm responsible for certain stuff at home, and I'm very happy to be responsible for that certain stuff, and I'm not responsible for other stuff.
You got blue jobs and pink jobs.
Yeah, not quite, but kind of. Yeah, kind of. I do the stuff.
You have your roles, don't you?
Yeah, you have your roles to fulfil, and what I don't do is try and be the dominant thing in stuff I'm not very good at.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are good at different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the best way in my eyes is to focus on the stuff you're really good at.
Yeah.
Yeah, and be really, really good at them. And the stuff you're not good at and someone else is good at, then don't get in their way.
Yeah.
Because they're really good at it.
Yeah.
So I think I've learned that if as a business grows, it gets a bit bigger. They get a bit slower because they're bigger.
Yeah.
You really try and control the stuff that you can control. Yeah. Work on the stuff you can influence. Yeah. The stuff that's out of your gift, then that someone else is responsible for that.
Yeah.
And you have to trust that the right person's in the right job and they're going to deliver that as best they can.
Yeah.
And therefore you get to a point where you go, yeah, okay, it might be a bit slower than I want, or it's not quite moving as fast as I'd like, but that's the reality, and you have to deal with what's in front of you right now. Yeah, and therefore focus on the stuff you can do.
So where do you see Giacom going then, in terms of what's the kind of strategy, what's the important bits that you want to touch upon over the next couple of years that you focus?
Yeah, I think, if I look at, again, just my mobile business, what do I want to do? I need, in order to keep growing my business, which clearly we need to do, standing still isn't an option. We need to keep growing. So there's two kind of things for me. I need to give my partners more opportunity to win. Yeah. So I only win if partners win. Yeah. As I say, no direct sales whatsoever. So I'm purely dependent on partners in order to grow my business. So I need to give my existing partners more chance to win, and for that, you probably know, but we're launching the EE network. Yeah. Again, my simple maths. Yeah. I've got X today divided by 2, O2 and Vodafone.
Yeah.
And therefore, if I put another one in, I go, X divided by 2 times 3. Guess what? I've got 30% more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's my simple logic, and I like simple things. So launching EE network, pent up demand, undoubtedly, for a wholesale model on EE because they've never done it.
Yeah.
And therefore we launch that, my category, my partners can win more, they've got more opportunity to win, and therefore we all win more. So that helps my partners grow, helps me grow. So that's a big focus for me. We've been in negotiations with BT for quite a while. We're thereabouts. Our Q4, which is Jan, Feb, March, we'll be launching EE at a wholesale model.
Yeah.
And we'll be fully automated, give or take, by the end of that quarter, which would be massive. Yeah. The channel is absolutely crying out for EE on a wholesale model, and this will be the first time it's been done properly in my eyes. Yeah, I would say that, and I'll touch on that in a minute. Secondly, again, that's enabling my existing partners to win more. I need more partners selling mobile. So we in our cloud business, we've probably got 4,000 MSPs who sell 365. They deliver managed IT, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Those partners primarily never included mobile services in their propositions to their customers. Yeah. They're just not, for loads of different reasons, and everybody's tried it or tried to have a go at it. We're trialing at the moment a differentiated proposition to enable those partners to put mobile in their managed service proposition. Yeah. That's about getting more partners to deliver mobile to their end customers, which then again...
Why do you think that they've not necessarily looked at doing that now?
I think
look at mobile as a product.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a I think if you take a step back, there's a view that mobile's a dark art. Yeah. So if you go back, if you go back in the day, we used to have these. You used to get an RRP tariff, let's say £30, whatever it was, and you get this much revenue share, and you get this much bonus, and it's this commitment, and it's X, Y, Z, and if you got a real specialist mobile salesperson, you didn't really know what your end price, you didn't really know what you were buying, because we were all really skilled at selling it and positioning it a certain way. Yeah. So I think as someone who's used to selling a Microsoft license where it's £10 a month fixed, Microsoft do the pricing, and there's a small rebate for the partner, and it's part of an overall managed service, that's a very different selling.
Yeah, you haven't really got to stack it too much.
You're not stacking a deal.
Yeah.
So therefore I think, there's that view where, I don't really know what I'm doing, therefore I'm not going to do it. What we see it as an opportunity for those MSPs. We see that, an MSP there's a trusted provider for IT. If you're already doing an end customer's IT, you're doing their security and IT. Yeah? You're pretty trusted in their business.
Yeah,
you have to be.
It's the deepest rooted product in reality.
Exactly. So therefore, they've already got that relationship where they already trust you. Yeah. Why would, if we can make it simple enough to add those services in, why would they not take that from you?
It's free revenue in reality.
Yeah, and therefore the MSP benefits because they get a new margin, the revenue and margin stream.
Yeah.
The customer benefits because now they don't have to go to their MSP for their IT and then they go, my SIM card's not working. I'll ring somebody else.
It's line on their MSP bill, isn't it?
So it just becomes it becomes another line in the managed service.
Yeah.
So that's why we think that's the opportunity, and therefore our job is to make that easy for those MSPs, and that's what we're doing. With differentiated proposition, much more aligned to how a Microsoft license is bought. If you're buying a Microsoft license, you do small, medium, large, or basic, standard, premium. Yeah, that's how Microsoft do. It's dead simple. You've only got 3 choices. We built a proposition that is completely aligned to that. Yeah. Plus, we've made we've done changes on our platform. We've invested massively in our platform over the years, as you know. But we've made those changes to make that ordering journey really easy. So very much like buying a Microsoft license. You just pick it, and we do all the heavy lifting in the background and make it.
You just won awards for the portal, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, we won. Lucky enough, we won last week at the event. Last week, we won the award for best portal. I mean, I think this year probably 10 million quid investment. Year before 17 million quid. Yeah. We've invested a lot of money.
But again, it's making the partner's life easier.
The whole thing is to make the partner's life easier. Yeah, if you go back, pre-2020, if you're an MSP or a provider, you'd go to or an end customer, you'd go to Dixon's or Curry's, whatever it's called, to buy your few laptops. You'd go to the BT shop or store to buy your fixed. You'd go over here to buy your mobile. All over the place. So as a small business, you're looking at going, I've got too many. It's just all over the place. Yeah. Can't do it. I haven't got the money to invest in that. I haven't got the money to do it. What I want to be doing is focus on my business. In order to focus on your business, you need one house, one place to go to get all this stuff, and that's what we're trying to do. And therefore, our platform is built to go, right, I can buy cloud, I can buy mobile, I can buy connectivity, all in one place. So you don't have to go to separate. So as an MSP who's providing those services, you're not dealing with 5 or 6 or 7 suppliers. You're not negotiating contracts with Vodafone or BT or EE, where those contracts are big, broad contracts with loads of commitments. Yeah. We take that away, but we deliver it through a single platform, and we're constantly trying to make it easier. So we gather in feedback. We're speaking to our partners. Go, what would make it easier? What would make your life easier? How do we put these things together? In mobile, we just a recent one is order again functionality and templated orders. Yeah. Yeah. So you can literally set up a template of how your most frequently ordered kind of mobile subscription with whatever tariff or whatever, and you can just set it up as a template, and it's a single click. Yeah, yeah. So you go, we did the research as you'd expect us to kind of market it, but it's gone from 7 minutes to 30 seconds to make an order. Yeah, well, when you're putting through several orders a day, several people doing orders, it's a lot of time. Exactly, and so for an MSP small business, you're kind of going. I'm not spending loads of time doing order processing now. More time to speak to customers, more time to engage customers. Exactly. So that's our value. We take away those costs out of your business and allow you to deploy that cost elsewhere. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the whole focus. So that's how we do it. It's that constant focus on making our partners' life easier, be it platform, proposition, people. As we say, our account directors are here to make your life easy. Yeah. Which you hear everywhere, but they rarely deliver it. Or they deliver it for a period of time and then go missing. Yeah, and that's where me as the MD of the business, that's what I focus on all the time. I don't let it. I'm constantly not letting it. Keep those standards high, the bar's high, isn't it? Yeah.
Quick word from one of our sponsors, Guru Technology. Simply put, they're the highest Google-rated company in their industry. A very different service and a very different set of products covering business-to-business mobiles, phone systems, energy, renewables and EV, security, CCTV, alarms, AMPR, broadband and IT. They specialise in dealing with companies who are receiving really poor service and spending a lot of money currently with their supplier. They will come to site, do a free of charge audit and fix any problems that you're having. So if you've got problems with your current supply chain, search Guru Technology in Google and give them a buzz. Thank you. Let's get back to the podcast. So what's your relationship with tech? So we mentioned just before we click the record button about phones and family and all this sort of stuff, and I think it's quite interesting what you said. So being a tech owner, what's your relationship?
Yeah, it's funny. I'll tell you a story. I think every Christmas, we get all the family around, grandparents come around, all that kind of stuff, and there's always you sell phones, don't you? Can you fix my phone for me?
Yeah.
And I always go, listen, I have no idea about the actual tech. I don't know how these things work.
Yeah.
I can't program it. On my phone, I have everything switched off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have my email, text messages. I'll do calls. Yes, I'll have Teams and all that, and whatever, a bit of social media, Instagram, whatever. But I'm rubbish on them. I just turn them off. I don't do all that integrated stuff. But that's always funny that someone will say, "Oh, you sell phones. Can you fix this for me?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, I don't do that." But what I've found over the last kind of probably I've been doing this a year now or something like that. I try and leave my phone at home at weekends. Yeah, 'cause I only have one number, so I don't separate my work and my personal. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work. I don't want to carry two devices around. So I'm constantly trying to minimise my use of my phone. Yeah. So as I said before, Saturday comes, I'll go and play golf with my mates, and I'll try and leave my phone at home. And it's refreshing in a way that you kind of you leave it at home, and then you get home 6, 7, 8 hours later, and I've not missed it, and I've switched off from it. And it's kind of so that's really, it's something I've been doing, and I think it's helped. As I said before, we try and have, when we got family together, we try and have no phones. Yeah, just I want you present in the now. I don't want you, searching Instagram just because what you're doing. I want you in the now, because in the modern world, time is precious and everything moves so fast.
Which I think the reason why I like that is because I think we've all had it previously. You around a dinner table, and whatever the age group is, it's either an iPad in front of a 2-3-year-old, or it's a phone that someone eating. I mean, my son's really bad for it. My son's really bad for it, and I've probably engendered that because I'm taking phone calls, eating dinner, shoving it down, doing bits and pieces or whatever. I'm not saying that there's right and wrong for everyone. Whatever works for everyone, but that's a really strong way to go, that I think, and a positive way to go for it. Because I don't think the people's relationship with technology, phones in particular, is particularly, I think, a broad brush is not particularly positive.
No, I agree. Look, we can't turn back the clock, so you can't remove social media completely. No. You can't, it's not going to work, But I think it's important, let's say from a health perspective, mental health perspective, physical health perspective, that you take time away from these things, life is short enough, time moves fast enough. I do believe that spending time away from these things, turning them off, don't stay away from them. It's really helped me. I find that I'm more content overall.
Yeah.
I'm not stressed as much. I don't.
What does Vic, your partner, think of your decision not to have tech? She never mentioned it to you?
No, not at all. Not at all. She's, she probably does the same.
That's quite a positive change for you to make, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
It is. I mean, look, as I said, we still communicate with my kids. Two of my kids have left. They've moved out. I still communicate with them all the time. Yeah, I want to be in touch with them. But when they're at home and when we're together, I don't want to be in touch with them through a phone. I want to be in touch with them individually as a person. That's how
Not my son did the other day. So he's upstairs, and he wanted to buy something on his PlayStation.
Yeah.
So he didn't come downstairs. He rang me.
Yeah.
He FaceTimed me. Dad, can I? Why are you FaceTiming me? You're upstairs.
Yeah.
But it means I don't have to walk downstairs.
Yeah.
11. I was like thinking, you lazy bastard.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes.
Is this the day we live in now? Like,
it is. It is, but I envy my dad sometimes. I don't envy my dad about much because but I envy him sometimes because he doesn't do mobile phones.
Yeah. Nor does mine. Yeah.
Just doesn't do it. Yeah, 80 years old, not interested a bit, and he lives a great life.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just not in
simple,
there. And it's he's got a mobile phone, but I think I've rung it probably 3 times in my life, and he's never answered it. Yeah, and then he'll say, it's in the drawer at home.
Yeah.
It's got no charge.
Yeah.
He's just not interested. And you look and you go, it doesn't stop him
Yeah.
So there's a balance to be made. I think we're right. I think it's right to say we've gone too far one way.
Yeah.
You're never going to get back all the other way. There's got to be a balance. And I think, just as I say, not carrying my phone with me at the weekends as much, certainly on a Saturday and a little on a Sunday, it's done all right.
Impact,
it's positive impact. Yeah.
People should try it.
Yeah.
So in terms of challenges, then your career,
Yeah.
what would you say was your biggest, shit moment? Like maybe your lowest moment or your biggest moment where you really sort of struggled with something, whether it's business, personal. What would you say is your kind of your biggest moment, and how did you kind of get round it, over it, through it?
Yeah, good question.
Because you come across a positive guy.
I am. Yeah, I mean, I think
definitely half glass full type character.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think again, if we go back 20 years, let's say 15, 20 years, I was probably, as I said, I was impatient. I wanted to go fast. I wanted to be somewhere. I wanted to be someone. Yeah. So being someone, it was a big thing for me. Rightly or wrongly, and that's probably ego-driven. Yeah. And I think that probably didn't manifest in a positive way. Yeah. So being ego-driven, you can kind of you get to a point where you're not necessarily a nice person at times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was, I think there was a realization there that I wasn't, I looked at I had to take a step back for whatever reason. And you look at yourself and you go, actually, I'm not really the person I think I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing all right, doing okay, but not where I wanted to be.
Was there a moment you can remember where the straw broke the camel's back with that?
Yeah, there's a few things going on. There was there was probably a little bit in personal life. My kids were growing up. I probably wasn't the dad I wanted to be.
Yeah.
As well. So you're engaged in work and you're working really hard. And you're going really fast, but you're angry and you're not quite.
No, I lost a marriage because of it.
Oh, well, there you go.
I look back in hindsight, I see there's other things going on, but I look back, work too much.
Yeah, exactly.
But then
work too much, but in the wrong attitude, and therefore you don't achieve what you want to achieve, and the balance is out. Yeah, the balance is out, and I'm not the person I wanted to be, and that's probably.
I think that's quite big for a bloke,
Yeah, it is.
Like when you're a realisation that maybe this isn't.
Yeah, I'm not this invincible individual who's going to be a world beater. Yeah, I'm just not, because I'm not doing the right things. So that was probably a moment where you sit back and you go, oh, yeah, if I carry on like this, I'm going to be an angry, bitter person who's always going to wonder, always going to be like blaming other people for your own shortfallings, and that's not a position I ever wanted to be in.
Yeah.
And I think you have to then start doing the little things every day that make a change. Yeah, you can't go from zero to hero immediately. You just can't. That's not life. But what you can do is take responsibility for the small things, the small individual steps that you can take. Yeah. So you get up every morning and you say thanks for the day. Yeah, I'm still here. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first thanks. Be grateful for what you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wherever you're starting from.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really important from stage one. Yeah, and then you can start building. You can do things better. You can make a conscious effort to be. You don't have to be nice to everybody, but don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I use that saying quite a bit. Just don't be horrible to people.
Yeah.
If you've got nothing to say, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But don't be a dick, because you don't know what that individual's going through.
Yeah.
So there's that. Don't judge other people, and you've not walked in their shoes.
Yeah.
So until you have, you don't know. So therefore, don't judge. You might not like. That's fine, but don't be judging people who you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go from kind of being not very happy and in a bad place, and you make a few different steps, and you suddenly improve a bit. Actually, I've been all right. 7 out of 10 times I've interacted with people today, I've been nice.
Yeah,
hell, that's better than 3. And 7 being a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's those things. So again, that was probably about 15 years ago, and and it was a bit of, I need to improve as an individual first, and the results will come from that. I am a big believer nowadays in as I started, you get out what you put in.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you put nothing in and you constantly take, in the end it'll catch up with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you won't be the individual you want to be. So that was probably the lowest point, probably about 15 years ago.
Was that a gradual thing, or because I had a similar experience, and there was a moment that broke it for me.
Yeah.
The low point for me was I got caught drink driving.
Did you?
I went to a Vodafone event. I didn't feel well.
Yeah.
My boss was like, you need to come. I was like, trying to get out of it.
Yeah.
And he's giving me the whole, look, you need to come to these things if you're going to come through the business and you're going to replace me. You need to be at these things. So, right, okay, I'm definitely not going to drink because I feel like arse. And I never used to really get ill, but I felt really bad. And I turned up, and within 10 minutes, ordering drinks, ordering shots. So I'll leave the car around the corner. I got so blottoed, I didn't make the right decision, and I went and slept in the car. Woke up, and whatever happened. I ended up writing off the car. They'd done 200 miles, company car, did 280 miles, 50 mile an hour into a central reservation, lost my licence. And that was the moment where, looking back, and I've done a solo podcast on this as well back years ago, but that was the moment for me where I was like, when I recollect that moment, you were an absolute egotistical arsehole. Things are about you, things are about what you're earning, what have you got. And I'm not saying that that's not things that people should get motivated about, because everyone's different. I can't say that about people, but I certainly look back and thought I wasn't a nice person. I was quite fake to the point where I was really good at it. I get people probably think I was a really nice guy, but actually I didn't give a fuck. I give a shit about me. And that event slapped me back, and the subsequent events after that, appearing in court, the shame. Some of my family didn't speak to me. Some people that I was friends with that I didn't know that had connections to people that had drink driving and had lost people and stuff didn't speak to me. But they didn't tell me. People just went cold. I didn't have anybody really for a few weeks, and just my mum and dad. But even though I know they were disappointed in me. Having to walk back into work, thinking I'm going to get fired. My boss speaking to the board at the time, half of them telling me to fucking sack him, and half of them were like, keep him. So not really feeling wanted there, even though I've grafted for 4 or 5 years. At that point, I was coming through. I was the person coming through, making the moves, and I thought I'd ruin my career. Obviously, I couldn't drive, so I was doing 80 hours of community service, walking from my house to town to do the community service. We'd be mending benches, or they put me in a charity shop. Actually, that was a good experience. I ended up selling fuckloads of gift aid for them, and they were doing really well out of it. And it was actually, I tried to spin it positively, but not being able to drive, simple things like getting buses and walking everywhere and stuff. It was just 9 to 12 months of that, and then I got 6 months off the band, so I ended up doing 18 months. It's a long time when you've had the freedom at probably, what was I, 23, maybe, something like that, 23 and a half. I had a kid at that point, my daughter, my eldest. It was just shit. But that was the turning point for me. I'll never get back to that place again.
I don't think I probably haven't got an individual single event. I think it's probably a cumulative event. And then it's then you one thing happens, and then you go, whoa, hang on a minute, let's put it. I need to turn this around. So probably not one, just a cumulative effect of a number of things. I think having kids is one of them things. I have to give props to my wife for she brought my kids. Just she did most things. I was that. Didn't do very much at home. Let's say she did lots and lots of stuff, and therefore I was absent at times. And then when you suddenly your kids are they're not 1, 2, 3 anymore. They're 10, 11, 12, 13, and you're going, whoa, what's happened here?
Time's gone.
It's gone. You never get that back. And therefore, then you kind of go, oh right, hang on a minute. This is. I need to invest in my kids and my family and all that stuff.
I think that just comes with real. Is that age maturity?
I think that's age maturity. Some people never get there. I know it. But for me, it was getting a bit older. I suppose the older you get as a man, you realise you're not infallible, because growing up you think you're infallible, don't you? You think you're just going to go forever, and you don't. No. And therefore, as I say, time moves dead fast, and I am now very much so. Everything moves fast, and I want to I want to rinse as much as I possibly can out of time. But I want it with the people who I care about.
Your circle of people.
My circle of people, and I suppose it reflects in work. I think my team at work, my senior team at work, a lot of them we've worked together for 10 years, 10 years plus. I like spending time with people who I feel
your people,
my
people,
I'm I think I pride myself on being as loyal as possible. We create bonds together and they'll last forever. Unless somebody, the flip of that is, if you break them and you do something that's not good,
it's done.
Then I'm very difficult to get back from. But everybody makes mistakes and you can live with them. but those bonds matter to me. And that's at home, although it's a different circle, and in work. In work, the team I have, as I said, most of the senior people in the team that we have,
it's a loyal unit. Yeah,
have been there a long time.
Yeah.
And I try and look after people as much as I can. I try and motivate them. There's harsh love as well, always in business. You sometimes people need telling, and you need to put them straight. Look, that applies to me as well. My CEO will give me that feedback when I need it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. You have to be able to take feedback in a way.
Do you think that's changed over time? Like that because I think it has.
Yeah.
I think I look back to sort of when my bosses used to speak to me and all this sort of stuff, and I look back and think, would I have those conversations with my people now? And number one, I think you can't, to a degree.
There is a bit of that.
There's a bit of a line there where you can't.
Yeah.
Which I know is there for a reason, all this sort of stuff. But I think it's very different in the way that the workplace is different now.
The workplace is very different. Yeah, I mean the workplace. If I look back at formative years in telecoms,
you're throwing people at like you see the Wolf of Wall Street midget being thrown.
Exactly.
You've got loads of that sort of stuff happening regularly, every day, and you're incentivised around making sure it happens.
Yeah, exactly. Driving a sales team back in 25 years ago was very different than driving a sales team now.
Yeah.
The things you could do and you were encouraged to do are different. So you need to, we needed to adapt. Have we gone too far now? There's an argument to say we've gone too far the wrong way. Yeah. I'm lucky in that the relationships I have with my people allow us to still have fun. Yeah. As long as you don't cross the line, that's fine. It allows us to still have fun because we're all in each other's pockets and trust each other enough to know that if I rib somebody, I'm not doing it from a place of I'm not doing it because I'm nasty. We're doing it because
the longer you have that relationship, the more you understand.
Exactly. So that's why
and they're around your circle because they know what you like.
They know
and they like that.
If someone came to me and said, you really, really upset me. You said something really nasty. I'd probably be a bit kind of, okay, let's go through it. And if you got validity, then fine. If you're just being a bit precious about stuff, then we're probably going to fall out. But I've not really suffered with that. Which is, I'm either really lucky or I'm doing something right. We'll see. But it is a different world of work. Is it perfect now? No, nothing's ever perfect. But we are where we are. You have to keep pushing and keep adapting to what's going on.
So what would you say? So you've been in leadership positions for a while. And arguing you running a really part of a really big business now and a business on its own now. So what would be your kind of best advice? Best couple of things for any aspiring like leaders coming through or people that think, I want to start my own business potentially, or someone that wants to do something a little bit more. Yeah.
I mean look, right, do not be afraid of hard work, number one. You have to work hard. Not many people get to senior positions or earn fortunes without working bloody hard and putting the effort in. So that's number one. You got to be willing to put the effort in. Number two is surround yourself with really good people. So find good people, look after them, build relationships with them. And do that as best you can because don't ever be threatened by someone's skills and talent. Don't ever be threatened. If you employ them, it'll reflect on you. You've employed someone really good. If they go on to succeed, celebrate it. Celebrate their success as much as your own, because you've had an impact on it. You've contributed. So sure, you should be celebrating it. Never shit on anybody on the way up. Don't do that. I've seen it. Where people are progressing and they're horrible to people who they used to work. Don't do that. That's just a sign of it. That's not a good sign. And you never know when you might need these people. You never know when the tables might turn. So be courteous to people in that way. Be afraid. Don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to make decisions and take risks. I used to have a saying. I make 100 decisions every day. Every day I make 100 decisions. I might get 5 of them wrong. Do you know what? It doesn't matter. You can change those 5. not making decisions when people are looking at to make decisions is worse than making a bad decision. Because their life stops. Their work life stops. They're waiting. They've no decision. They're just and suddenly they can't progress in their world. Business isn't only my world or your world. It's their world as well.
It might be a very small decision for you to make, and you're busy, but it's affecting them moving completely.
Exactly. So make decisions when you need to make them. Don't wait for 100% data accuracy. If you're waiting on data, don't wait for 100%. Your gut's probably telling you what decision to make, and the data's just supporting that.
It's your own validation to a degree, isn't it?
You need to make decisions. So making decisions is a big one. I think that's probably what enabled me to kind of move forward as much as I have. In that I was never scared to make a decision. And I think people look at it and go, oh, he must be in charge, or he must be able to make decisions, because he is. And sometimes it was a blind, but you've just done it because it helps to move everybody forward.
I always think ask for forgiveness than permission.
Exactly. Waiting for permission is it can be suicide sometimes. You're never going to get it.
And usually I think that permission is validation of something you already know.
Exactly.
And you just haven't really got the confidence to go after it.
I think members in my team will say I enable them. I encourage them to make decisions.
I think as long as they can validate how they've got there. Right or wrong. No worries.
No worries whatsoever. So those are probably the big things.
Okay.
Number one is work hard. Don't ever be scared.
That's the one thing I've tried to instill in my kids. I've got four kids now. 19, 11, 2.5 and 9 weeks. What I've tried to instill in all of them at different times is just that, it's the work ethic.
It is.
I see it from my dad. He's 83. He worked since he was 14 building, come home and he'd be absolutely tatered, knackered, covered in shit, building sites and blood and all this sort of stuff. And that's the example. My mum worked hard. My brother works hard. So it's like that is what the example is. My sisters both work hard. Like that. That's the example that you set. And that's the one big thing that, looking back, I want, when the roles are reversed and I'm 83, the one thing I'd like my kids to say is that, Dad was he grafted like shit. Regardless of what he has or hasn't got, he really...
Exactly.
I just think that's a good testament to...
It's a personal trait, isn't it? That's the sign of a...
And it sets your youth up as well, because I think a lot of things these days, they see the social media stuff and you think, well, I can just flip a TikTok channel and go and make 50 grand. That might work for some, but it ain't going to work for everybody. No. And if you're watching it and think, it's like the things that you see on LinkedIn, 6 steps to earning 7 figures, and it's like, you're talking shite. They're just selling you a plan for 100 quid a month and they're doing it to 1,000 people. Fair play if they're doing it, but it's just waffling it. It's like the pyramid scheme stuff. It works for a few.
Works for a few, not for.
But actually, most people to get anywhere need to
work hard.
Even just being happy and having a normal job, you still need to work at it.
I think. But one more thing, you see sometimes people complain about the work they've got to do. So this isn't my job.
Yeah.
And I've always said, well, it doesn't matter. The job needs doing. Do it.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to do the job in front of you, because it needs doing.
Yeah.
If it doesn't need doing, then tell us why it doesn't need doing. We'll stop doing it. But if it's there's work to do. It doesn't really matter what the work is.
Get it completed.
Get it complete and get it complete to the best of your abilities. There's that thing about Japanese drinking tea. They want to drink the best cup of tea ever. Every time they drink it. And it's like I have that kind of. If I'm doing something, I want to do it to make it as good as it can be.
In that moment.
And therefore you take pride in it, you deliver it, and then you can move on. So there's a bit of that. It's how you go forward, isn't it?
Of course it is. All right. Well, look, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and the chat. Just a minute before we sort of finish. What's? I know you touched a little bit of this before, but what's sort of next for you in the business then? What's coming? Is there anything in particular you want to kind of touch upon for anyone that's listening?
Next for me in the business, look, we need to keep growing. Fundamentally, as a business, we need to keep growing. And as I said, we only grow through enabling our partners to be more successful. So my whole, my waking days are spent thinking about how we can help our partners win more. So as I say, we're launching EE. We've got a proposition for our cloud partners. In a year's time, we'll come back and we'll see how we've done on them. I'm hoping. I'm confident we'll be able to say we've done really well. So my focus is on that. I'm always trying to look out for good people, as I said at the time. Team's fundamentally what we do. So if there's people who want to come and work hard, want to come and work in a business like ours, I'm always available for a conversation. I've got 50 odd people now. If I could have 60 by this time next year, and kind of constantly improving the DNA in that team. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's where you want to be.
Yeah,
people driving.
Yeah,
people driving.
Like-minded people working together, having a lot of fun, because we do. Yeah, everything's you've got to enjoy what you do. Yeah. Find a job you love.
Are you any good at golf?
I'm all right.
What's all right?
I play off low single figures.
Look, that's better than all right.
Yeah, well.
You've been watching Ryder Cup?
I did watch the Ryder Cup. It was fabulous first 2 days.
It was scary, last couple of hours, wasn't it?
The Sunday was a bit kind of, oh dear, don't lose this.
Yeah.
But I think sport is a great show of how teams work.
Agreed.
It's a fabulous show of how teams work.
You got the USA. They didn't give up, did they? They kept going, nearly got there. And we showed some fighting spirit, so hang on.
Yeah, so sport for me is it's life, isn't it? It does show how good teams can win, how individuals can win. There's lots to be learned from sport. There's lots of bad sides to sport, as we know. Modern world of sport is probably is a little bit difficult, but things like that, like the Ryder Cup. It was a pretty enjoyable event, and I love.
I think even if you didn't like, I know plenty of people that don't even follow golf that got wrapped up in the kind of end day.
Absolutely. So it was pretty good. Golf is one of the things I.
You need to teach me how to get to a low single digits. I mean, I'm 18 now.
That's all right.
I don't play enough, but
no, I mean, I am. People who know me will tell me I'm relatively obsessive about certain things. So as I said, I like doing. If I'm doing something, I want to do it well.
Do it properly, yeah.
So I've played a decent level of golf. I love it as a sport, as a game.
Yeah.
It helps me relax.
Yeah.
It helps me take my mind off stressful things. I love a bit of golf.
I went round this weekend in a local course called Cold Ashby. Best score I've ever done, 84.
That's pretty good.
Probably won't ever be repeated. But
no.
You only step up to a tee.
Yeah.
And bore everyone here. You step up to a tee and you've hit a couple of good drives that have actually gone straight, and you think, I can't hit this anywhere else but straight.
Yeah.
That was the kind of headspace. It's the best place ever.
It's an awesome feeling when you middle a golf shot. Yeah. When you absolutely middle it. It
got to the point where I was feeling like I was playing with my father-in-law and my partner's brothers, and it was like they were hitting a few wayward bits and pieces left and right. They probably weren't playing to the standard they'd usually play with, and I was like, "Fucking hell, I know I'm going down the middle."
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
But then I don't know, you get too confident. It's like, I know where this is going to go, and it's like that's when karma goes and says, "Golf's difficult. You're in the bush."
It's an unbelievably difficult game.
Patience,
logically, it shouldn't work. But it does.
I feel like it helps me with patience.
Yeah, definitely.
The ability to swallow after a bad shot in front of people and think, okay, I've got to settle. And
it's a great sport.
Yeah, 3 off the tee. All right, mate. Well, look, thanks very much for coming in. If people want to find you, where's best to sort of reach out?
I mean, you can get me on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. Forgive me if I don't answer straight away. I'll
be upstairs.
I look at it a little bit, frequently in the week, but not all the time. So just reach out on there. You can get me on LinkedIn.
Cool.
As I say, I'm always happy to speak to people.
Perfect. Well, look, we'll get you tagged up in the pod when it goes live, and then people can click your link and reach out if they're interested in joining you, speaking to you about your journey, or want to have a conversation.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
All done. Job done.
Fabulous.
Lovely, mate. Thank you
mate.
very, very much.
Really good.
Spoke really well.